Hey, this is Mike Tatarski in Ho Chi Minh City again. I'm going to keep the camera off me because I'm actually taking a break from a run, so I'm pretty gross. Um, but it hasn't been the best day for Vietnam. As mentioned on my earlier stream, they had reported the highest number of new COVID cases since the outbreak began this morning, 45 new cases up in Da Nang. And also this afternoon, the government reported their first death due to COVID-19 since the outbreak began. Vietnam had for months been proud of its zero death toll, but that changed this afternoon. The patient was a 70-year-old man in Da Nang with underlying conditions. He was had a severe issue, um, which COVID certainly contributed to, but they're attributing that as the country's first COVID-19 fatality. And unfortunately, several more patients are in critical condition in Da Nang. Um, they're older, they have underlying conditions, so it's, nothing is guaranteed, but it seems likely that there could be more deaths in the coming days. So I'm here in the city's Vinh Thanh district in a huge park in what is probably the city's biggest housing development, or one of them at least, right along the Saigon River, which is right there. So I will say this is a rarity in Saigon, this having this much green space. I'm just going to take you guys for a little walk through it. It's huge, and Ho Chi Minh City is generally a pretty concrete jungle, so this is kind of a rare treat, a place like this. It's about 5:15, or exactly 5:15 p.m. here on Friday, so early in the U.S., I know. Not sure if anybody's even online. But yeah, this is Ho Chi Minh City on what is so far Vietnam's worst coronavirus day statistically since the start of the pandemic in January. 45 new cases announced this morning, and one death, the first death this afternoon, attributed to COVID-19. I know those numbers are tiny compared to a lot of countries you may be watching from. But Vietnam has done an incredible job throughout this, confronting it. A lot of public unity, a lot of mask wearing, a lot of trust in official instructions. We're not seeing debates like you hear about in the US or something like that of whether people should be wearing masks or what people should be doing. But anyway, like I said, I'm just going to take you guys on a little walk through this park. Oh, that's a dead end. Bit of gloomy weather, which I guess is appropriate for the day, but the streets are still busy. Up in Da Nang, it's a much different story. The city's on pretty hard lockdown, but here in Ho Chi Minh City, other than bars and nightclubs being closed, everyone being told to wear masks, life is continuing on rather normally. You can see some kids doing something with basketballs. Hoping I don't get rained on while I'm out here. So again, this is a huge park in Ho Chi Minh City, connected to a giant housing development. It's actually a putting green over there. If anyone has any questions about what's going on in Vietnam, please ask. So if you watched my stream last night, this is the skyscraper I was mentioning across the river. It's actually the tallest building in all of Southeast Asia, not just Vietnam. Opened last year at some point. Again, this is Ho Chi Minh City, a few hours after Vietnam announced its first death from COVID-19. That's right, its first since the outbreak began. For months that had been enjoying, well, I don't know if enjoying is the right word, but had a death toll of 0, which was incredible. I mean, it's still incredible that it's only at 1 now, but certainly saddened a lot of people. There was great pride in that 0 death toll. So I know people are upset, but people are definitely still confident in how things are going here, feeling safe. Again, this kind of setting is not the norm in Ho Chi Minh City. There's a lot of concrete, few parks, certainly almost nothing of this scale. So group having a barbecue. Not really seeing masks. That's a little bit of a concern. Although they're outside at least. So maybe my timing is off for getting viewers. I'm not seeing any questions yet, but this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Earlier this afternoon, the country announced its first death from COVID-19 after maintaining a 0 death toll since January when the pandemic started, which is frankly, remarkable what they've done here. So it's very sad news, but again, 1 is pretty good, all things considered, compared to what's going on elsewhere in the world. Sorry. There's a comment, not many wearing masks. Yeah, I mean, they're required again. I think in a space like this, maybe since it's outside, people can kind of keep their distance. Maybe some people think they don't need to. But again, the virus, well, we're going to find out how much is in the community or not here. But here in Ho Chi Minh City, there's only been 2 recent cases announced in the last few days. We'll see if that changes. There's a lot of testing going on here, given the fresh outbreak up in Da Nang. Do I really believe this is the first death? I mean, there's no reason not to believe it. I know that can be pretty shocking compared to what's going on in a lot of other countries, but I've talked to health experts and they don't have any reason to doubt the figures, given how aggressively Vietnam confronted this from the get-go. I think I'm getting word that three more cases were just announced here in Ho Chi Minh City. Three people who had returned from Da Nang. That's a city on the central coast that is the epicenter of this new outbreak. We're approaching 100 new cases in the last week nationally, and I think at least 80% of those have been in Da Nang. They're all linked to Da Nang, so that's where the real problem is for now. And everyone is hoping that they can contain it to there. And this is a huge park in Ho Chi Minh City attached to this gigantic residential development that you can see. It's about almost 5:30 on Friday afternoon here. So last night, bars and nightclubs were ordered closed here indefinitely. Public gatherings of more than 30 people were banned, and mask orders were brought back online. Hanoi has the same regulations in place. Da Nang is in full lockdown. You can't enter it, and there's no tourism going on. All restaurants and cafes, bars, non-essential businesses are closed up there. It's a city of around 1 million people, so that's pretty significant. And again, this morning, the Ministry of Health announced 45 new COVID-19 cases. That's the highest total yet in a single day for Vietnam. And I believe a few more were just announced, so that number will increase. And Ministry of Health also announcing the first COVID-related death for Vietnam since the outbreak began. So, like I said earlier, Vietnam's worst statistical day yet since in the entire outbreak. But relative to the rest of the world, those numbers are pretty great. So people still have a lot of confidence in how things are going here and generally feel safe and all of that. This is the Saigon River right here. It's rare to get vehicle-free peace and quiet like this in this city. If you've ever been here or seen videos of it, you know what I'm talking about. Definitely need more spaces like this in this city. I'm just going to walk for a couple more minutes. So just in case there's any new viewers, this is Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, one of the only large open green spaces in the city. But this has been Vietnam's worst coronavirus day yet, with 45 new cases announced this morning. The country's first COVID-19 death. But still, being our worst day is relative, because those numbers are much better than many other countries. So despite that, obviously you can see people are still out enjoying some fresh air. There's a nice breeze. Hasn't been too sunny today. So despite the news, there's still a lot of pride and unity and still a lot of faith in how things are going here. No sense of alarm or panic, really. But we will see what happens these next few days because Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are both conducting mass testing on tens of thousands of people who recently returned from Da Nang, the center of this new outbreak. So once those results come in, we'll get a sense of really get a sense of where things stand. And in the distance there, you can see the District 1 skyline, the city center, just a little ways down the river. And I'm going to be signing off once I reach the fence. So once again, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. A couple hours ago, Ministry of Health confirmed Vietnam's first COVID-19 related death. Now we go into a weekend of waiting to see what comes next as more testing goes on and more people are treated. And I'm also going to continue the run that I paused to do this. But there's the great view of the city to close on. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll